Trillions of dollars. Anytime anybody talks about trillions of dollars as part of a crypto conversation, that should get our attention. $867 trillion. That's the number that the World Economic Forum ties to or estimates the value that's going to be disrupted by tokenization, tokenizing real world assets. That goes beyond use cases for just financial assets. It also involves many other things that are going to be tokenized. It can be anything as varied as carbon credits or precious metals like gold, things like even oil and gas eventually is going to be tokenized, and money market funds and things like that. So there's a wide variety of things that are going to be in this category of real world assets to make up that $867 trillion number. The important thing to take away is that number, that value is going to be brought into the crypto ecosystem. That's not necessarily going to drive the crypto market cap to $867 trillion, don't misunderstand me, but that value is going to be running on chains that are going to benefit from this increase in utility for crypto. Now, I'm going to talk about two tokens that are going to be already directly involved in this video. And if you pay attention to it close to the end, I'm going to talk about them and tell you why I think they're going to continue to succeed. With that, if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel, we definitely would appreciate that. It helps us to keep creating this content for you and putting out helpful information out there for you to watch. So that $867 trillion number is definitely a long-term number. It's not something that's going to happen in 2026 or 2027. But to kind of give you a level set for that number, I had a previous video where I talked about this a little bit, that there's those in the industry, CEOs of companies that are in this ecosystem and talking about these things. One CEO estimated that $40 trillion is going to be coming into tokenization and those are money market funds, by the way, coming into tokenization by 2026. And so that's next year, folks. That's a long-term number to get to that $867 trillion, but it's already started. And it's something that is just going to keep, or at least the beginnings of it is already started. And so it's just going to make crypto and the projects involved in making all this happen and creating this new global financial system. They're going to be successful. And so we have to really think about that. This is a massive shift in our global infrastructure that's playing out right in front of our eyes. So now, asset tokenization. So I have an image I want to show you that talks about how this process works in a big picture wise and what it really means when I start talking about tokenization. So we take what's called real world assets, or RWAs, and those, as I mentioned, I gave a list of things a moment ago: precious metals and money market funds and bonds and stocks and things like that are all part of that RWA categorization that then get tokenized. And that just means there's a digital representation that gets created of that RWA. And so they're tokenized on a blockchain and verified. So it says Chainlink proof of reserve. This image was created by a company called Chainlink. So Chainlink is one of the two altcoins that I think, and I'm talking about in this video, that I think is absolutely directly involved in all of this $867 trillion. Is going to continue to do well. And I'm going to talk about the other company that just announced a partnership with Chainlink that is also definitely involved in all of this. And I'm going to talk about them later. And so the Chainlink says that it creates what's called Chainlink proof of reserve. That means that there's proof that it actually exists out there. And then these RWAs get accessed into the DeFi world that runs on blockchain. That can be on Ethereum. It can be on other networks other than Ethereum. But so DeFi is where it's called decentralized finance. And so these tokens will then be tradable across DeFi, as it says, for deeper liquidity, faster settlement, and access to new markets. And so what that means is that it just opens up the world for people to be able to invest in them and buy them and sell them and do all kinds of things with them. And so this massive shift is occurring. And so with that massive shift, you have this process that's driving it all. When I look at this, I'd stop and think, okay, how can I take part in all this trillions of dollars and being able to make money or financially benefit from all of these things that is happening on a massive global scale? Well, that means I get involved in owning the projects that are helping make this happen. And Chainlink is one of those. The company that created this image is Chainlink. And so what does Chainlink do? Chainlink, they're in the business of a decentralized oracle. And they also have this cross-chain interoperability protocol, or CCIP. So what is a decentralized oracle? What does that mean? An oracle is providing data into chains. So in other words, when you have all these blockchains out there, the oracles connect into the blockchains and allow real world data to come in and participate in or be used in smart contracts in the chain. So let's talk about those three things that Chainlink says that are going to be needed for this RWA tokenization. One of them is that they need to be able to enrich the RWA with RWI. In other words, real world assets with real world information. And so that means putting real world information, that means pricing data, that means the status of the bond or the yield on the bond and all the things that would go along with that to be carried into the token and then carried across chain. So that just means maybe starts on chain A, goes to chain B, and that information, that real world information, travels with it. And so the second thing is enable liquidity when it goes cross chain. So that means being able to have other people from other chains be able to come in and buy that token and have the knowledge of what's going on with that token from its inception, that real world information. And so that enable liquidity and RWI. And the third thing is keep that real world asset updated as it crosses chains. In other words, if it goes from chain A to chain B, you want to be able to have that data that was associated with that real world asset, whether the bond or whether it's a gold or a carbon credit or whatever it is that gets carried across chains. And so that technology is called an oracle, but it's also associated with the cross-chain interoperability protocol that Chainlink provides. So now, what is Chainlink says about themselves, that they are they call themselves the universal standard for powering programmable token transfers. So I think that's just, they're saying they're the universal standard, but I think by industry adoption, that's pretty well true. Chainlink's a great company. And so they, powering programmable token transfers, that just means the process I just described, tokens being carried from one chain to another chain and that real world information data going across with it. So now let's talk about the second altcoin that just made a press release with Chainlink that is directly involved with this real world assets and the tokenization and being able to have the institutions of the world being able to take part in what's going on with this process. And so let's take a look at this the second image here. And so that's the press. This is a press release from a company called Ripple. So Ripple adopts the Chainlink standard to further Ripple USD utility and access in DeFi, or RLUSD. And that the way they say that is real USD. So Ripple is the company, and the token is XRP. So the Chainlink, their token symbol is Link, L-I-N-K, and Ripple, their token symbol is XRP. So Ripple and XRP, they've just announced a press release. You notice on the date, it says January 7th, 2025. And so they just announced a press release with each other that says, hey, Ripple saying we're going to adopt the Chainlink standard for the real world or real USD that we are creating, which is a stablecoin. So a stablecoin that is, by the way, denominated in US dollars. And so RLUSD being a stablecoin, it's an institutional grade stablecoin that Ripple has created and is now live. And there's tons of liquidity already pouring into RLUSD, and it was just launched just within a month ago, or less than a month ago. And so with this announcement, we see that Ripple is going to be using Chainlink, and so it's the specifics of the press release is that I have highlighted here in blue is that Chainlink price feeds are now live, providing a secure, reliable source of real USD pricing data on the Ethereum mainnet. So, I mentioned Ethereum earlier. So, this price feed is on Ethereum. So, Ethereum, would be another great project. Obviously, it's one of the, blue chip crypto tokens cryptos out there. So, the three that I'm talking about in this video, we have XRP, we have Chainlink, and we have Ethereum. And so it's on Ethereum mainnet, enabling developers to integrate support for real USD into their DeFi applications. And so it enables these DeFi applications that are, they're varied and they're growing, all kind of new things are coming out all the time. But things like lending and borrowing, so people lend their crypto and they borrow to crypto. And so those use cases are certainly being enabled by RLUSD. And then there's also liquidity pools and, the other Web3 applications and things like that. They're all being enabled by stablecoins like RLUSD. And so what does that mean? It means that there's real world utility. There's these real world assets bring utility, and they have pricing data and other data from Chainlink to be able to tie into the coin, and so that the institutions can have the information that they need to make buying, selling, lending, borrowing decisions. So hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.